This is a tutorial on how to make this giant crochet flower pillow that I love so much. It's pretty easy to make. It's very similar to my first video on how to make a crochet flower. You're going to need chenille yarn and a 9mm hook, baby chenille yarn. I got it in green. And the beginning should be a slip knot, as all other crochet projects. Okay, not all, but most. The ones we've done so far. And you're going to start your chaining. Make a chain. So the number of chains depends on the size of the flower you want. So I did mine about a meter worth of chains, about a meter and something. But you can take it up to 2 meters or up to the number you'd like. Just know that the more the chains, the bigger the flower. So you chain till you're satisfied with the length of the chain. That's mine. It's pretty long. I wanted a giant flower. So once you reach the end of the chain you want, you're going to start on your second row, and your second row will be single crochet. So you'll just single crochet into the second stitch and do that right across. That is your second row of this flower project. So we'll meet at the end of this row, at the end of the single crochets. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 2. Make sure you get the very last stitch and then chain 2 and turn your work. And then you're going to double crochet into the third stitch. Skip 2 and double crochet into the third, and then chain 2 and double crochet into the third stitch again. So then what you're going to repeat is the chain 2 and double crochet into the third stitch until the end. This is the third row. So you keep doing that, we'll meet at the end of the row. You're almost at the end now. Make sure you get the very last stitch. Again, there's something you always have to remember when you're doing most crochet projects. You need to get the very last stitch. If you don't, you'll have an issue with the edges. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. So we're going into the 4th row. And the 4th row, you single crochet into those spaces that you created. You single crochet into the first of them, then double crochet. Then you double crochet. I made a bit of an error there. So you double crochet into the same space and double crochet twice. Yes. and then you single crochet. So you can either double crochet once, or for the first one I double crocheted once and then single crochet, but then from here on I will single crochet, double crochet 2, and then single crochet 1 in the same stitch, in the same space, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to write it down there just to avoid any confusion. You can choose to make the first 2 maybe smaller, use one double crochet, but then expand, so that, because this is what makes the petals. So you can choose the inner petals to be smaller than the outer petals, and how you do that is by adjusting the number of double crochets in between the single crochets. So each space has a single crochet, double crochets in the middle, single crochet in the end, to create that kind of tapered, that petal, that curved shape that petals have at the end. Okay. It's not easy to do. It's basically a shell stitch. It's so hard to do a shell stitch with a 9mm and this thick yarn. Get to the end, make sure you do that all across the row, and then make sure you get the final stitch and you tie in your ends, and then you cut. You use your scissors to cut off the ends and also weave them in. I used my hands to weave ends here actually, because this yarn is too thick for my darning needle. Once you're done, then we'll do the same thing we did in the other flower video, where you roll starting from the inside. You remember the small stitch we made at the beginning? The small shell, you start from there and you roll, and already you can see you're getting your rows of your flower. Round. It's turning out so good. I think I'll make more flowers. So I made a very long loop first. I made a long two separate pieces, okay, of this. So I did the 4 rows at 2 separate times, so that once I rolled the inner flower, I made a small flower, then and then went around with an even bigger flower on the outside with a longer, you'd call it a belt. I made 2 of these. What I've just shown you, I made 2 separate ones. I rolled the inner one and then rolled the outer one, just to make it as wide as you see it now. And you make sure that you secure the bottom part, as you've seen me doing. And we have our rose. It turned out even better than I thought. And it's very fluffy and thick, so it's pillow. It's decorative as well as functional, Colors look a bit different in different light, but it's the same pillow. See, I think over here you can see the 2 different. I made 2 different sets of the same thing. I made a smaller flower, and then I went around it with even more, with another piece.